about DevOps. It's not related to Python, but it might change your life. So who am I? I'm actually a release engineer. I worked as a release manager in DevOps for more than 10 years. I work in Percona. Who knows what is a Percona server? So not that many of us are here. And Percona, it's a fork of MySQL. Who knows what is MySQL is? So you're quite successful, guys. And how you back up MySQL if you don't know what Percona is? So nice. That was a good answer, but not in the mic. So I'll try to explain to you what is DevOps. Who knows what DevOps is? And could you tell me? Could you tell us what's it all about? We'll come up to the stage. So it's quite serious approach. Oh, okay. And can anyone tell me what is DevOps is created for? Which issues it should resolve? Could you tell me? Just don't feel shy. Come on, guys. Okay, you go. So there was quite a story. Microphone is not working. Microphone is not working. Микрофон не работает. Ребята, микрофон не работает, я его не слышу. So operation team, so those who work with them. Microphone is not working, I'm sorry. Nope. Oh, let's do another replacement. Okay, so replacement of the replacement. Okay, so there are developers, so great. They do hundreds of releases a day. Everything is agile based and something like that. They have lots of testing, and there are operations. I mean, those who have to should take those developed results. They should make it running fine, and in majority of cases, those operations we have thousands of servers. We have to check it all. It's a big issue, and then there started kind of a war between those. So the war started among them, between them. So they didn't like each other, and so between big enders and little enders they started to fight, and they decided that let's take the best development practices into the operations, and thus we'll have a kind of a mutant which develops infrastructure. That's right. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So I'll try to work with the room. If the audience will work with me. Thanks a lot for that. So, generally speaking, initially speaking, if you call it the DevOps, like DevOps 1.0, the purpose was as follows. We wanted to harmonize interplay between development, QA, and others. And what they needed that for? Well, actually, in order to take up the market, to enter the market, its time to market parameter is of topmost importance. I mean, business requires from developers, from engineers, to be or to make to launch product or new features of the product, to bring them to the market as fast as possible. I mean, previously, in majority of cases, we had so there were software companies. So companies who developed some software and they sold it, and they sold the software. But when internet came in reality, there appeared more and more companies selling not the software, but who provide some services. And those service companies, they started to create their own websites where they try to sell something or to sell their services or provide their services. And those service companies, they want to be more active when entering the market, and the time to market value when manager or a product owner created a feature and up to the time when it appeared on the website, it's a very critical parameter. It should be faster than competitors. That's why this time to market metric is appears to be the most important for Devops. So when this idea was born, maybe it wasn't the best, or maybe not the first appearance of Devops, but still, there was a talk in 2009, which was called, maybe the English is not perfect here, but it was called 10 plus deploys per day, Devops cooperation Flickr. So the Flickr guys told me how they managed to get to the level of 10 releases per day. So who can make 10 releases a day? So great. So each time when I hear about this talk, I do think about this book. Those who can do 10 deploys per day. Is it like that in your case, if you do 10 plus deploys per day? Oh my God, damn it. Well, so but well, due to such an approach, like in 2016, another issue appeared that majority of issues, of production issues, they are related to insufficient release management. I mean, still, since, well, before ops brought something to production, something was broken, then all ops were scared and didn't want to bring to production. Then Devops started to bring to production. The problems, they still appeared, they still existed. And maybe what we see in the future, the Devops starts to look at the other issue. Today we're not talking about the harmonizing of the interplay. Today we're talking about, today we're talking about how to effectively, properly and safely to deploy new functions to the production releases. That's why we see some changes in Devops at the moment. Well, doesn't want to read an interesting book. It's a book about actually nothing. It's a book about that everything around is so bad and lots of pages. And when in one moment Devops appeared and the result of the issues is this book you can buy on internet and Amazon. It's easy to read, even if your English is very poor. It's still very easy to read. And it has been translated into Russian, but I don't want to name the websites. So how Devops managed to make this 10 deploys per day rate? Well, it's their flow, kind of a not main flow, is called a continuous delivery. Do you know what is a continuous delivery? Can you explain? Well, coming to you. No, thanks. And who can tell me what continuous delivery is? They just don't feel shy, Come on. Well, that's the case when the new deployment process is coincides with its launching of the server and bringing it to production or running test cells. Well, for sure. So another comment was in the mic. Well, I'd like to tell about the previous slides, but the comment of the previous person was a very proper one. The Gartner study wasn't the complete one. Then, after the Gartner research, there was another research, and they found that 90% of companies who were in this Gartner list and which was the basis for this analysis, they didn't have any tests. They just removed it, and Devops actually mandatory has tests for the deployed code, and so the result will be incomplete, and the result will be like results will be like, you know, whatever you do. So it's like a basic story. Without tests, you'll have you'll have bugs in the production. So during the production, you should have someone who understands the debugging process, or someone for QA, and QA is very important for DevOps process. QA even more important than DevOps. Well, honestly speaking. So continuous delivery. Continuous delivery is an approach when everything is automated. All the steps, starting from commit to the repository up to the issue, when this commit starts to work in the production mode, they should be automated. So all stages of release management, all steps of testing, absolutely all tests, even user interface tests, everything should be tested. So due to that approach, continuous delivery, due to this continuous delivery approach, it actually changes the definition of what is a closed ticket means. So that was so interesting. So developers, they took a ticket, wrote some code, placed it somewhere, stored it somewhere into the GitHub, and closed the ticket. So saying the ticket is done. After that, evolutionary, so to say, ticket for some reason started to be brought to QA because it's not done for some reason. So the closed ticket definition changed. Testing stage was added. Then testing stage was added with documented stage, if it's done, so to say, properly. And then still now we see the ticket is completely closed once the code is already in production mode. So so it's one of the good changes in the DevOps. So how to get this DevOps process? So we have to bring all the stages, starting from commit up to the production deploy. We should bring to some diagram. So we should make a graph, at least for the beginning. It was created by Toyota. So everything was created in the Toyota. It was created by Toyota in the 70s. So you can use this experience. What about Intel? Well, I mean about approaches to DevOps, to development, to agile. And it's already the stage which has been already passed a long time ago by Toyota. So that we know that our committee should run a unit test. After there is a unit test, we should run a functional test. After functional testing, we still have to do something else. And all the stages, all stages should be done in this house of Jack. We should everything bring to the map, document everything, and then, and one of the projects made such a map, and all stages which were here automatically brought to another part of the diagram. In the ideal world, all those stages, in the DevOps world, all those stages are brought into the automated part. So all stages, all solutions. Well, solution making is a very interesting process, but when I created this diagram, the product owner, after feature implementation, in this square, approved by a product owner, after implementation of tickets, he looked to what has been done actually, and then and he approved for deployment only afterwards. So the process was very interesting, and this stage it should exist before a feature implementing a feature. So it's quite logical. So such a value stream mapping makes possible to understand which stages we have, which links exist between the stages, and which of them can be automated, and which of them should be done prior to developing something at all.
But when the code is written, there is no time to make a decision. You've done it. Correspondingly, at this stage, we don't document as is, then we will improve. We will see Conway's law. It's not exactly to the subject, but we will see that our processes, our map, will strongly reflect the interaction between our teams, which is logical. In this case, Conway was talking about slightly different things. And how do we automate all that? That is a delivery pipeline. Who knows what a delivery pipeline is? Good God. Who knows Jenkins? And who knows pipeline in Jenkins? What is a declarative pipeline in Jenkins? Right. Actually, you were quite right. How do we automate all that flowchart in the simplest way? We just transfer all those steps into a utility that allows to perform all those steps automatically. It doesn't matter whether it's GoCD, Jenkins, or TeamOrg, or any other solutions. So we build a block. That block has certain automated steps. It has certain dependencies impacting other blocks, and in the long run, this is from one of my projects, and these lines is the deployment for production. So it passes all the stations from commits to production, and everything is automatic. Now there are two solutions: GoCD, Jenkins Pipelines. Jenkins Pipelines is very actively developing, renovated, upgraded, and I have to repair it after every deployment. Who knows Jenkins? They love it, and GoCD is more stable. It allows to describe everything in very big and clear XML. Well, those who worked with XML know how clear and understandable it is. Jenkins Pipeline is much better in that sense. So this is a screenshot from GoCD. In Jenkins, everything is more complex, unfortunately. What's continuous testing? Can anyone tell me? Oh, there's a prompt there you can read. Good gracious. It is a definition from Wikipedia. It is the process of automated test as part of the software delivery pipeline, and its main part. If we automatically roll out the code for production After commit, testing becomes a nightmare because it must be comprehensive. And that is probably very important because it saves us from business risks. And one of the beautiful changes in Devops is that developers become on call. They can be available after a telephone call or internet call. If you made a commit, it went to production and that broke something, the operation team would very much like to call you. And the manager really tries to make a possibility to call the developer a very popular. The business risks for the developers become very important, and they start to write their own tests. Can you believe it? After a few calls, they start writing tests, and even functional tests, and as UI tests, and they become very much interested in correctly testing the code. Now, when we do the delivery pipeline, everything becomes very automated to the maximum extent. Absolutely all stages must be automated. When we do our first delivery pipeline, we use, and that's mandatory, the bang bang and production principle, so the minimum viable process. So the process, if we ask QA engineers how they automate the tests, they will tell you a lot of things, but you need to understand what tests really are needed and what tests do they start, do they launch. And that's the minimum viable code should be placed in the delivery pipeline with the least possible effort. If it goes down, it is better than if it's not there at all. So at every delivery, one test is down, sooner or later you will really polish it and make it correct. But better let it go down. And the minimal viable process allows us to arrive at pipeline in a short time, where we use the least effort in order to automate something. Yes, everything must be done with one button and better still automatically on commit. Certainly the deployment for production is approved by a person quite often now. Well, different approaches. If you want to read something really smart, this book, which is considered most popular one, but it is getting obsolete very soon. Part 2. 5 minutes is all you have. Yes, I abridged my presentation a little bit.
Minimum viable process.
Minimal viable process in action. I hope that you really saw the advantages of Devops, but Devops has also some cons, actually. Well, if you remember the ops commands of the 1990s about the teams setting and their sweaters, and those operation teams, their work as such was lost. Well, it was not lost, but it did not grow with the market, not fast enough. And if you have ops work, think about using Devops or somewhere else, because the pure operation team is killed. DevOps appear that roll out the code immediately after commit into the infrastructure. and it's time to get scared. Devops kill developers. Developers used to be bearded guys in an ebony tower and talking something that was not really, did not have anything to do with reality, with production. And DevOps starts killing those developers because developers start caring about things other than development. And DevOps kills the development because developers start to think about being called at night. The business risks become more important for them than some velocity or turned value or any other metrics existing in the development department, or the number of closed tickets, the number of code lines. It becomes unimportant. Their productivity is not important for them, how many features they make. Business risks become much more important for them. And that's super in principle, because what the business needs is what developers need and not what they think they need. So DevOps kills development, it kills QA, because QA, before the manual QA, was a very simple entry to the industry. Every student who wanted to QA courses, so they selected two most smartest guys out of 100 and they become manual QAs. They could do some basic operations that can read the specification and test it. But with DevOps, we don't have any manual QAs any longer. All the tests must be automated. I'm finishing. I have only 2 slides to go. So, manual QA is killed because we need better qualified experts who can write automatic tests. DevOps kills outsourcing as it used to be 10 years ago, when the client comes, when they figure out the specifications, when they start all those slow operations, the kickbacks, the agreements, and so on and so forth. It kills the old outsourcing, and it is replaced by outstaffing now. When a developer works in a big outsourcing company, but they work in a team of another company, that's outstaffing. And outsourcing, where the project manager was inside outsourcing, is dying. And DevOps kills IT, if you did not yet understand that, because it was easy to become part of the operations team. So you had adjust the Windows, then they started using the Linux, they then become big bearded admins, and you could come from in QA, you could come to as a junior manual QA and become a really tough senior automation QA. With DevOps, those easy ways are cut away. There is no more. DevOps should know a lot of things, and there is no QA which could enroll or could provide personnel for IT. So DevOps really kills the influx of new personnel, and that's great because my salary grows naturally. So keep calm. DevOps is taking over the world, and I'm ready to be torn apart.